Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. And I was just thinking, today uh, I had donuts for breakfast. And it's been years and years and years since I've had donuts. I don't do donuts. I just, like I say, I'm a sugar addict, so I don't want sugar, and so I know better, so I stay away from it. But it was funny because I thought, well, tomorrow's going to be pancake day. Sundays I do pancakes, and I thought, well, so I'm going to skip the oatmeal and I'm going to have donuts. And what was kind of funny is, uh, for one thing, the place was packed, and early morning donuts. It seems like all the donuts shops are packed early morning, and but anyway, uh, the what got me is I mentioned I was in the oil business. When I got into the oil business, I had no idea what I what I was getting into. The only thing I knew about oil when I got into the oil business, see, that been in 1979, something like that. And the only thing I knew about oil is it came in a can. I know nowadays you don't see oil in a can, but it was in a can at that time. And that's the only thing I knew about oil. And so I started to work. Matter of fact, I was in the process of looking for hunting lodge or a fishing lodge. Just what I was looking for. So I was traveling around looking for this lodge, but I was home and I had somebody get a hold of me, and they were working on a drilling rig, and they asked if I would work for them for 2 weeks. They want to go on a 2 week vacation, and I did. And I told them, well, I don't know anything about it. And they said, well, there's no problem. They'll help you out. And so I started to work on the drilling rig. And what we did, what I did, my job was when they bring the pipe, they stick a drilling a bit on the end of it to drill. And then they'll go down, and then when it goes down, they'll unhook the pipe and put another 20-foot pipe on there and drill it down 20 foot. And then they unhook that and put another one on there and go down like that. That was my job. And, not that complicated, not that hard. And I thought, no big deal. And I worked midnight to 8. And what it is, you go down, I don't know how many feet, but you go down a long ways. And then you have to change the bits. And then what you do is you have to pull it up 20 foot at a time, take that piece off, set it down, hook on the next one, pull it up 20 foot at a time. And that's what you do. And so I did it for 2 weeks. And the thing was, they were paying me $4.25 an hour. And this was the time when most places were 2.25 an hour. That's what they were paying. But they were paying me 4.25 an hour. And I thought, wow, man, this is cool. And so then I'd do that, and then at the end of the 2 weeks, somebody said, I want to go on vacation. Would you work for me? And so then I stayed working all the time. And I ended up, I was there almost 2 months. And I mean, they kept me going, And then after Christmas, they shut the rig down. And then when they shut the rig down, they laid everybody off. And that was the first time I've ever been laid off my whole life. I mean, I'm a good worker. I've always done good. And so then they laid me off, and I thought, this is a pretty good racket. I think I could do this. So then I went to the one that's running the rig, and he's got all this experience. He's been doing everything on the rig, so he knows everything about it. So I went to him and I said, how'd you like to go in partnership with me? We'll buy a rig and we'll start drilling and stuff. And he laughed at me and laughed, and he says, You haven't even been here 2 months, and now you want to go in business with me? And so it was funny. And so then I said, after that, I thought, well, I think I'll just own my own oil wells, and then I'll pay somebody like run the rig to come out and drill the wells for me, because that's when you own oil wells, you don't have all the drilling equipment, because it's specialized work. So you have somebody drill the well, and then after that, one thing I learned when I was drilling the well is you how to find oil. And so I learned how to find oil. And then if it's a good well, then they'll pull it out. Then you pay another group, and they'll come in, and they put cement down the hole. And then they'll run pipe. They get another specialized team that comes in and runs the pipe all the way down. They bring another team in. They put cement in there. They put cement down the pipe, and it goes down to the bottom of the hole, and it comes up along the outside of the pipe. So then now your oil well is sealed. Everything is sealed down below. And then after all that's all done, then they have somebody else come out, and then they measure it all out, and they got equipment, and they can tell where the oil is at that level, and then they blow it up. They blow holes in at the level of where they want. And so and I thought, well, this is what I learned just drilling wells, because when you run that pipe down, there's another, might be 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes before the next 20 foot goes down. So you got time. So hey, I'm over here asking questions, learning, and all this kind of stuff. And so so I was learning how this stuff works. And then I said, well, I'll tell you what, from the people that were finding the oil, I said, now, you're going to need some help on finishing this well. And they said, well, yeah. And they said, how much? And I said, well, no charge. I'll do it for free. And they said, well, free? And I said, yeah, but I don't know anything. You have to teach me. And so then they said, well, yeah, free labor. What's wrong with that? So I did. That's what I was doing during the day. At night, I worked drilling the well. During the day, I was finishing the well, getting it going. That's how I learned all this kind of stuff. And then, when I ended up being laid off, I thought, okay, I'm gonna start my own oil wells. So then I put a second mortgage on the house, and then use that money to pay somebody to drill the well, and then so I can complete it. At that time, it ran about $5,000 to do a well. Our wells run about 700 foot deep. The ones that ones I learned and started on, and so $5,000, I can get an oil well going. And then so that's how I got started in it. But the thing was, when I was doing all this, I had no money, so I couldn't take care of my family. And so what I did is I had my wife and kids go to Guatemala, and they lived there for 6 months while I was getting my oil wells going. And because, no money on it, I'm just getting them going. And then, eventually they started making money. And then, but the funny thing was that 6 months, I had no money. Like I said, I couldn't afford to take care of my own family. So then what I was doing was I was living on day-old donuts. Because, working on the rig, a lot of times if it's early morning, I'll grab some donuts, take it out to the rig so people have some donuts to eat. And so I got to know the owner of the donut shop. And so when I started my own oil company, I told him, I said, hey, I'm poor. I don't have any money, and but I could use some food. And he says, well, you want some day-old donuts? And I said, yeah. And so then that's what I was living on, day-old donuts. And that's the memories that I got when I went to the donut shop. I thought, boy, that's cool. The donuts, didn't remember them being so good. They're really good. And But anyway, that's what made me think about the donuts. And like I say, in 6 months, I was starting to make money with the oil. So, then that's when my family came back, and that's really when I really started doing good in the oil business. And I say, well, just I'll tell you a little bit about it. My oil wells weren't big oil wells. That's why I didn't have to compete against big oil companies. My oil wells would make maybe a third of a barrel, maybe a half of a barrel of oil a day. So I wasn't making that much. And at that time, I think it was like $2 a barrel of oil. So you don't make that much money. Now but what you did is you drill a well, and then right when you drill a well, for maybe the first 2 or 3 days, if it's a really good well, it might go for 2 or 3 weeks. That'll really do good. I mean, you're talking 10, 15 barrel, maybe 20 barrel a day. And so that will help you get back your money. And then, but after I got my money back from my oil well, I didn't pay my second mortgage off. What I did is I drilled another well. Now I got two wells producing. So if it took me, 3 months to get my money back with one well, when I have two wells going, it would only take a month and a half to get my money back. So then you start getting oil wells like that. When the windfall profit tax came, and that was windfall profit, what happened is price of oil went up to like $38 a barrel. I was making a lot of money, and the government didn't think I needed that much money, so they had a windfall profit tax and charged me 1/3 tax on all the oil that I get. And that didn't do good for me, because it was just before the windfall profit tax. I went and borrowed $500,000 so I could drill more wells and get more things going. And they got in trade to pay it, I gave them half of my oil money, and that's how I'd pay my loan back. Well, problem is, the bank takes a half, the government takes a third. That doesn't leave enough for me to operate my business. That's when I went broke. And it wasn't just me. I mean, everybody went broke. I didn't go bankrupt, but I lost everything. And but anyway, it was interesting. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.